So you live in Kingston, New York, and you've got a dog. You already know that finding the right trainer is a big deal, right? It can completely change your life together. We're going to walk through exactly how to find that perfect fit so you and your best friend can really enjoy everything this awesome city has to offer.
I mean, think about it. Life with a dog here in Kingston is pretty special. You've got these amazing historic streets, those beautiful riverfront walks, and you can't forget the bustling markets on the weekends. Your dog can be right there with you for all of it. But yeah, it definitely takes some specific skills to make it all work smoothly.
All right, here's our game plan. First, we'll look at life with a dog in Kingston. Then we'll figure out what your dog actually needs. After that, we'll check out your local training options, how to pick the right one, and finally, how to put all that great training into practice around town.
Okay, let's jump right into our first section. Kingston, a dog's life. We're talking about what it really takes to navigate the city with your four-legged companion.
Okay, so let's get real for a second. Picture this. You're walking through the rundown neighborhood. Is your dog pulling your arm off? Or what about the weekend farmer's market? How do they do with all those people and smells? Can they even begin to focus with all the traffic buzzing along Broadway? See, these aren't just abstract ideas. These are the real-world skills a good trainer is going to help you build.
And that brings us right to our next big question. What does your dog need? Before you even think about looking for a trainer, you've got to figure out your goals. This part is absolutely key.
So what is it really? Are you just looking for some basic manners, the fundamentals? Or are you dealing with something a little more complex, maybe a bigger challenge? Because the answer to that question is going to totally shape where you go from here.
You can pretty much break training goals down into two main buckets. On one side, you've got your basic obedience. This is all the stuff like sit, stay, recall, and just walking nicely on a leash for your everyday life. But on the other side, you have behavior modification. This is for tackling the deeper stuff. We're talking fear, reactivity, resource guarding, or maybe separation anxiety. Figuring out which bucket you're in is going to save you a lot of time.
And look, let's be real, this is the stuff most of us are dealing with, right? The leash pulling that drives you crazy, the jumping on every single person who walks through the door, the nonstop barking, or maybe it's just getting them to come back when you call. These are super common, and trust me, a good trainer has seen it all before.
So once you've got a handle on your goals, it's time to see what's actually out there. Let's look at your local training options in the Kingston area, the different formats, methods, and of course, the costs.
So how do you actually want to do this? Well, you've got options. Group classes are awesome because you get to practice with other dogs and people around. Private lessons are great for that one-on-one, customized help for a specific issue. Then there's day training, where a trainer works with your dog while you're at work. And for the really big stuff, you've got Board and Train, which is a super intensive, immersive program.
All right, let's talk money. Here's a rough breakdown of what you can expect to pay in the Kingston and Ulster County area in 2025. You can see that a 4 to 6 week group class is going to be in the $150 to $280 range. Private lessons are more per session, and then you get up to the Board and Train programs. Yeah, that's a much bigger investment. This should give you a good idea of how to line up your budget with the type of training you need.
Okay, listen up, because this is probably the most important thing we'll talk about. No matter what format you choose or how much you spend, please stay away from any trainer who uses fear, intimidation, or pain. Modern humane training is all about positive reinforcement. It's safer, it works better, and it actually builds trust with your dog instead of breaking it.
So, now that we know what kind of methods to look for, let's talk about choosing the right trainer. I've got a simple 4-step guide to help you feel really good about your choice.
The first thing to know is that the dog training industry isn't really regulated, so you have to do your homework. A great place to start is looking for professional credentials. I know it's a bunch of letters, but things like CPDTK or KPA CTP, they tell you that a trainer has invested in their education and is committed to positive, science-backed methods. And if you're dealing with more serious stuff, you'll want to look for something like a CDBC, a Certified Dog Behavior Consultant. All right, so when you're interviewing a potential trainer, and yes, you should think of it as an interview, here are 4 key questions to ask. First, nail down their methods. Ask them how they keep things positive. Second, ask how they're going to customize the plan for your dog and your Kingston lifestyle. Third, how are you going to track progress? And finally, get all the costs out in the open, including any travel fees or cancellation policies. No surprises. Okay, now for the really fun stuff. You've got your trainer, you've got your plan. It's time to put it all into practice and use our awesome city as your personal training ground. This is really where the magic happens.
You can head over to the Kingston Point Beach Dog Park. It's fenced in, so it's a super safe spot to work on getting your dog to come when called. Or take a leashed walk through Forsyth Nature Park and practice focusing with all those squirrels and other people around. The Hudson River Maritime Museum area? Perfect for practicing calm behavior with all the boats and tourists. These local spots are basically your real-world classroom.
And hey, just a quick reminder about the rules here in Kingston. Your dog has to be on a leash that's 6 feet or shorter in all public spaces, unless you're in a designated dog park. It's just about keeping everyone safe and happy.
You know, if you've recently adopted a dog, this little tip is golden. It's called the 3-3-3 rule. Basically, expect it to take about 3 days for your new dog to decompress, 3 weeks to start learning your routine, and a full 3 months to really truly feel settled and at home. It's all about being patient and setting realistic expectations. Training goes so much better when you give them that time to adjust.
So, with all this in mind, let me leave you with a question. Once you have that clear plan and the right partner on your side, what could your life with your dog in Kingston really look like? Just imagine the possibilities.
Because at the end of the day, a well-trained dog is just such a joy. They're amazing to have at home, they're a welcome guest when you visit friends, and they're the best companion for getting out and exploring everything Kingston has to offer. Good luck on your training journey.